In a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills and golden fields, lived a poor farmer named Kofi. For years, he toiled under the scorching sun, tending to his barren land. Each seed he sowed seemed cursed to wither before it grew, and each harvest only reminded him of his endless struggle. Yet, Kofi held on to hope, for hope was all he had. Every day, he worked tirelessly, sweating under the unforgiving sun, pulling weeds from the cracked soil and tending to his small, meager crops. Villagers often passed him by, shaking their heads or whispering cruelly. "Kofi will never succeed," muttered one. "Perhaps he's just meant to stay poor forever," laughed another. Kofi kept working, swallowing the sting of their words, believing deep down that life had something waiting for him, a twist of fate he could not yet see. At night, in the quiet of his small hut, Kofi would sit alone, eating a thin bowl of porridge. He often stared at the shadows dancing on the walls, thinking about a life beyond the fields. One evening, as he absent-mindedly picked up an old, cracked clay pot, he began to shape it with his hands. Slowly, carefully, the dull piece of clay transformed into a smooth, elegant vase. Kofi stared in amazement. His hands had created something beautiful. For the first time, he realized he possessed a gift. He had the talent to mold clay into art. It was as if his hands had been guided by some unseen force. The next day, Kofi took his vase to the village market. He placed it on a dusty table, uncertain and nervous. The villagers who passed by stopped in awe. "Is this yours?" one asked, eyes wide. "Yes," Kofi replied softly. "I made it myself." Word spread quickly. Kofi's work was admired, and soon people began buying his creations. The poor farmer, long overlooked and mocked, was finally gaining recognition. But not everyone welcomed his rise. Daba, a wealthy and arrogant potter, saw Kofi's vases gaining popularity. He felt threatened. "Who does this simple farmer think he is?" Daba spat, anger flashing in his eyes. "I have worked decades to master this craft." Kofi bowed politely. "I only discovered this gift by chance," he said, careful not to provoke the man further. Daba's envy grew. He mocked Kofi publicly, claiming that the farmer had stolen his designs. The villagers were divided. Some believed the seasoned potter, others rooted for Kofi. One day, the village announced a grand pottery competition. Kofi hesitated. Daba's influence and power were formidable. Yet the village elder, a wise and kind woman, encouraged him. "Do not hide your light, Kofi," she said. "Let the world see the gift that even the heavens admire." Kofi took a deep breath and entered the contest. Each day leading to the competition, he worked tirelessly on his masterpiece, hands moving with precision and passion. Daba sneered each time he saw Kofi's progress, confident that he would triumph. When the competition day arrived, the judges examined Kofi's vase. Its form, its texture, its elegance, every detail was flawless. The judges gasped. "No one has ever crafted such perfection," one said. "This is extraordinary." Daba's face turned pale. He tried to argue, but the crowd erupted in applause for Kofi. The power had shifted. The humble farmer, once mocked and poor, now stood victorious. The villagers realized the truth. Talent and dedication could not be suppressed by wealth, envy, or influence. In the weeks that followed, Kofi's hut transformed into a bustling workshop. He taught others the art of pottery, sharing his gift with the village. He smiled genuinely as young apprentices learned from him, passing on the knowledge that had once been hidden in his own hands. Kofi often stood outside his workshop at sunset, hands stained with clay, heart full of hope. He remembered the years of struggle, the harsh words, and the long, barren days. And he understood something vital. Even in the darkest soil, greatness could grow. Hardship could not destroy a gift, and perseverance would always be rewarded. Kofi's story became a tale of hope and justice, a reminder that hidden talent, courage, and hard work would ultimately triumph over doubt, envy, and adversity. And so, the poor farmer who had once been overlooked discovered not only his gift but his purpose, and in doing so, brought light to an entire village.